Well, good morning, New Life. I'm John, and it has been a blessing to walk through the final week of Jesus' life with you. And here we are, nearing the very end of Jesus' life, near the end of the trial. And we're going to reflect today on the mocking of Jesus Christ. The mocking of Jesus Christ calls us to humility. The humiliation of Jesus Christ calls us to step into his humility. I want us to read this passage as Pastor Greg sort of led us up to yesterday. We reflected on the trial. Jesus is taken by the Jewish leaders to Pilate because the Jewish leaders don't have the ability to crucify Jesus. Now, why do they take him to Pilate? They take him to Pilate because he has claimed to be God. They take him to Pilate because of the charge by the Jews of blasphemy, that a man would claim to be God. But the charge that they bring to Pilate is a very different charge. The charge they bring to Pilate is that Jesus is an insurrectionist. He is claiming to be king of the Jews. He is claiming the authority that is a threat to Rome. And at the end of the day, Pilate feels like his hand is forced, and Pilate's not a good guy by any stretch of the imagination. He is maneuvering the political pieces here, and he decides it's in his best interests to kill this man that he knows is innocent. And then he hands him over to the soldiers. This is Matthew 27, starting in verse 27. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole battalion before him. It's about 120 to 200 soldiers. And they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. And twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and put a reed in his right hand. And kneeling before him, they mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they spit on him. And they took the reed and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they stripped him of the robe and put his own clothes on him and led him away to crucify him. I don't know if you've ever been accused of something that you didn't do, or you've been, a bully has pushed you and claim to be better than you or something, or put you down. I tell you, like in my heart, the desire to self-justify, to lift myself up a little bit higher, to put myself a little bit higher than others, it's a strong urge, especially when you're in those moments where you feel like this person, their only desire is to humiliate me, is to push me down and make themselves higher. Everything within me, I'd say everything within us as human beings, is to justify ourselves, is to push back on others. But Jesus Christ here, being mocked, being humiliated, he's just been scourged, he had been tormented and whipped. He is a bloody mess. He now undergoes not just physical torment, but he undergoes shame and mockery. And in so doing, we see the power of these final hours of Jesus' life. Because Jesus doesn't just walk through the pain, the physical pain and torment of death. Jesus Christ walks through shame. He walks through mockery. He walks through humiliation, and he carries it all on his shoulders. And the one who could call a legion of angels at any moment, he himself withholds that. In fact, we see all of the wrestling that Jesus does, he does with the Father in the garden beforehand. And that when he comes to this moment, his heart is so low and so humble, he can endure the false charges, the mockery, the laughing of those around him. And he can do so because of his great love for the Father and because of his great love for us. And in this moment, I would say he invites us in. He invites me in and he invites you in. What are those places in your life where you feel scorned by other people, shamed by other people, pushed out by other people? Would we step in and lower ourselves along Jesus Christ, recognizing that he is the one who has lowered himself beneath anything we can imagine, and in humility walk alongside him? That's the way of the cross. And that's the power of the freedom that we have in Jesus Christ, that our identity is in him, that we are known by him, that we are loved by him, that we are accepted by him, and that we are lifted up by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Let's walk in that truth today.